So Luke's gospel is one of those that it's the one that has all of these really neat parables. For instance, the Good Samaritan. It's got the one about the prodigal son. And in all of these stories, the theme that's constant is that it just says, like, there was a rich man. He had 2 sons. The younger of the sons went and squandered his wealth. In the Good Samaritan, there was a Jewish guy. He fell into robbers. He was in the ditch. And then a Levite, a scribe or a Pharisee or whoever, they all passed by. And then it was a Samaritan who came and helped him. And in the midst of all of Luke's parables, because we've been reading through the Gospel of Luke this year, because it's year C, this is the only parable where Luke specifically mentions someone by name. We have today another rich man, just generic rich man, and we have the poor man Lazarus. Why would they bother to mention his name now whenever in all these other parables they say no names in particular? I think part of it is in the details here. We have here, lying at the door of the rich man's house was this poor man Lazarus. And so he's trying to set a context for you. That this poor man is not somebody the rich man could have ignored, because he's literally lying at his door. He would have to literally step over him and then step back over him to go inside and outside of his house. And what's worse is whenever the rich man finds himself in torment, and Lazarus with Abraham in the bosom of Abraham, he says, "Father Abraham, have pity on me. Send Lazarus to do this for me." He knew him by name, and he did nothing for him. That's the severity of what we're dealing with in this gospel story. Because I know it's an uncomfortable thing to think about. How do we help the poor? How do we help those in need? Sometimes it's this nebulous concept of, like, how do I do it? What's the best way to go? I'm a gullible kind of person. I'm going to get swindled out of all of my wealth trying to help people out. But at least in this particular parable, Jesus is saying there are people in your life that you know by name that you have not done anything for. And what's worse is you know they're suffering, and yet you still do nothing. I don't know what to do about the wider populace of the poor. We do the best we can to help them and to support them and get them to a better place. But I wonder if there's certain of other individuals in our lives who we know by name, who we know are suffering, who we do have an influence over, who we can do something about. Quite frankly, one of the epidemics I see in the church is loneliness. I go to nursing homes and I can't get out of a room in less than 30 minutes because there's people who just want to talk because they miss their families, because they're in a difficult place. And so there is something we can do. Again, I don't know about the wider picture, but at least we can start with this circle that we've got of the people we know, the people we can reach out to.